So, this is KP with I Write, and we are speaking with Miss Aasha Davis.
Hi.
So excited to have you here. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be talking to you today. I love the thing I love about my job is the connection I get to make with people and just have cool discussions. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. Very welcome. We're really glad to have you, and we're going to show you a lot of support. Have a lot of fun. Yeah, we have a lot of fun things to discuss, and want to kind of talk to you about some deep things as well, but everything is going to be very, very positive and just show how you have totally just embraced life and how your energy is just so positive and eventful. So definitely looking forward to it. You are welcome. So first off, Aasha, tell us about how long you've been acting and what actually sparked your interest in your craft.
Oh, wow. Well, I've always loved TV. I was like, as a kid growing up, a TV junkie. Like, I just always loved it. I would be like, hey, can they see me, Mom, on the TV? You're like, no. But as far as acting, I kind of stumbled on that. I had moved out to LA. I was working as a production assistant on a late night talk show, and I basically just took care of all the music acts. I would, every day there would be a different artist come in. It'd be like Mary J. Blige, and then there'd be Wu-Tang, and then, it was just one exciting day after the other. And also they would do little skits in between. And one day, one of the producers just said, hey, Ash, will you be in this little skit with us? And I was like, what? What do I have to do? And they popped me in makeup and hair and put me in a little dress. And I did my performance, and I kind of caught the acting bug. I was like, that was really fun. And I always knew I wanted to be behind the scenes, creating content, but I never knew that I would, be on TV. I worked behind the scenes a lot first.
Okay.
I got the acting bug, yeah.
Awesome. That is so cool how you just never know.
You never know.
Yeah, you just never know how things are going to come about. You never know what's going to get your interest going in a particular subject, or how something can turn it from an interest to an actual passion. So that is awesome. That is really awesome. I'm really active on Twitter. I actually canceled my Facebook because I love Twitter so much. Yeah.
I'm wondering what people are doing.
Yeah. Because it's like Facebook is this arena of people who know you, and they don't really interact that much because they know you, or I don't want her to know that I'm liking her pictures. I don't want her to know that, it's just silly. Whereas Twitter is so like universal. It's like you can search for people interested in acting, and we don't have to know anything about each other, but that we both like acting, and that connection can just be amazing. Like, I've met a lot of great people who are totally into a specific subject or are passionate about a specific cause, or have a particular interest off of Twitter. And it's actually been the creation of some really good friendships. So I love it. And one of the people I follow is Film Fatale _NYC. And basically she has a blog, and she's always sharing energy and updates about acting and different races getting new publicity in the acting arena. And one of the things that she shared was a list of web series that she felt like people should be watching, and she kind of gave her take on why she thinks they're good. So she's not like one of those people that just post anything. Like, she really goes into detail about her specific thoughts and interests, and she even ties in history and statistics and demographics and all this good stuff. Well, on that particular post, she suggested, among I think it was like 6 or 7 other web series, she suggested Unwritten Rules. And based on the short description that she had written, I was like, let me check this out. So I watched the first episode and I just couldn't get up. Like I was supposed to like get up and go watch something else or do some research on something, and I watched all 11 episodes in one night. Like I love the storyline.
I owe Film Patel _NYC a huge hug, because if it wasn't for people like her spreading the word, just one tweet can make such a difference. Mm-hmm. It's so great that it connected us. Like, we're having a conversation, about it. I think you're right. Twitter is so cool, and I love your take on it. I never even thought about it that way. How you can connect, and that is my experience also. I'm connecting with people I never would have, and had a chance to, without it. So that's really cool.
Absolutely. So she's just a good person to follow anyway when it comes to that.
I'm on it.
Yeah, she's just a really, she's very objective. Let me say that. Like, she has opinions, but her opinions are so close to the truth because she bases them on facts. Like, I've learned so much about the industry just from following her. And I think it's called Cinema Noir, but she also has a blog talk radio show that she has as well. So, that would be a good opportunity for you as well, media-wise, because she has a huge following and she's a contributing journalist. I can't remember the publication, but she's featured. She's well connected. So, yeah. So, basically, I checked it out and I could totally relate because I'm in school right now, but right after high school, I went into corporate America. And, being the person that just knew, hey, do what's right, take your lunch to save money, tell the truth, follow rules, all of this good stuff. It's just like, that's all I knew. And I could relate to, you bringing your lunch. I could relate to, you not being on the popular list. I can relate to you having to explain, yourself more than once just to get your point across. And I think you did a great job starring in this project. And I also see that you were producing the project. I just wanted to know what made you commit to it and be so instrumental, because it's so successful. And I know it has a lot to do with your connection. So what was it about this particular webisode that made you say, hey, not only do I want to play the role, but I want to do whatever I can to take this project to the next level?
There was a combination of things that happened. The first thing was the same as you, just the connection I felt to it. I was like, wow, I haven't laughed openly like this about something so private, Mm-hmm. And I love characters that are flawed, and I like that she's not perfect, but she's getting through, and she's like everybody else.
Right.
And the next thing was, it reminded me so much of my sister. Like, my sister and I would go on walks after work, and she would tell me about the things that she had experienced at work, and she was so hilarious about it, and my husband were like, you should write this down, you should, do something with these ideas. And unfortunately, my sister never got a chance to do that. She passed away, but that when I read Kim's words, it just reminded me so much of her, mm-hmm. and I just felt this connection, and I just wanted to be in her shoes. I just wanted to wear her clothes. I wanted to, just kind of connect, and I missed my sister and her stories, and I was like, I'm going to get involved. And if I do, I want, once I met Kim, I think that's when I decided I wanted to produce also, because our ideas and the way that we talked about it was just like two friends talking about a mutual experience, or, and it felt like I really liked collaborating with her. I liked her energy. She reminded me of so many people that I love. She reminded me of my sister too. She's a self-proclaimed racy, mm-hmm, so, I thought, and I also wanted Racy I thought it was really important that she was relatable. Like, the book is really great, but Kim even says, I wrote it 8 years ago, and I read it again, and I'm like, whoa, I was in a different place back then,
Right,
we evolved, in certain ways, and things that stung in the past, are a little easier to handle now that you've been through the loop a couple times, you kind of brush it off a bit more, or you just realize that people are people, or, and I wanted Gracie to have that. I didn't want her to be super militant and people like, oh, she just doesn't get it. I want her to be like everyone else. And people say, oh, I know how you feel. Girl, oh, yeah, I get it. And also so many of our wonderful Caucasian audience were like, man, I never thought about it that way, or I felt that way before in the reverse, like I liked a guy and he told me he didn't date white girls, or it's like everyone goes through, they're like, well, can't you look beyond my color moments,
right,
in some way. So I liked that it was showing white people something that we could all talk about and laugh about and get over and make life better out of. And I like that it spoke for Black people, like, this is how we feel. Because that's, Kim says, I wrote it for white people. I wanted them to know how I felt, and still make them laugh about it and be able to take it without being like, oh, you're just overreacting. You're just being the angry Black coworker,
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I loved about it. I didn't feel like I was watching, Roots or Amistad. I felt like, it's the truth, but it's a comical spin on it, to where if I went to go see it with a group of my Caucasian friends, we would leave laughing and speaking of the different scenes and what was our favorite and who was our favorite character, not actually, having a history lesson and a series of apologies and the guilt trip or anything like that. So it was very well written. And I love the cast. You guys were great. You did a great job. So congratulations on the success of that. Oh, and for everyone who's listening, you can still vote for the web series for the ABFF webisode challenge. I voted the other night, and definitely check it out, because this is a project worth you voting for. It's very well written, well produced, a wonderful cast, and I definitely would love to see something that is just an all-around solid project receive the credit that it should get. So definitely want to share that with everyone too.
Thank you so much from your lips to God's ears. That sounds so nice. It would be great, to be present in Miami. But, today, I was looking over the votes and I saw two teachers commented about how they were showing the unwritten rules to their students, Caucasian and African American. Oh. They were all discussing it and talking and having great discussion. You know what? I was like, drop the mic. I'm like, that's all I could ask for, is for our work to spark conversation and, for people to be using it, being able to use it. Like, here, this is something. And I was like, whether we win or not, I'm so honored to be in that position. So, and be with so many other great web series. What an honor. So thank you so much.
You are very welcome.
ABFF.com. Let's do this.
Yes, you are very welcome. And not just, students, but I have a really close friend, Destiny Washington, who's an aspiring actress. And we were talking about the importance of webisodes. I mean, just seeing what Issa Rae has done, and with Awkward Black Girl, and just seeing what Reagan Gomez is doing right now with her series Almost Home. People are really making presence with their web series, and I told her to check yours out and just study it to get some ideas and things like that, and she's come up with some great ideas just from being an aspiring actress, seeing how you've pretty much taken your career by the reins, because you don't really see that with actresses a lot. That's why Reagan Gomez is even getting so much exposure through her Twitter, because most of the time actresses are to just show up and act, but to actually have a presence behind the scenes, have some type of notation and thought process to go towards the writing and the production and the projection of the characters. Kudos to you as well. So, yeah, you are welcome. So we're really excited about seeing, where Unwritten Rules goes. I also,
we're having so much fun. I'm so excited for you guys to see what we've come up with. A lot of fun stuff.
Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. I am definitely looking forward to it. I was just taking a look at a lot of things you've done. You're well known for Waverly and Friday Night Lights. Um, you've been on South of Nowhere, Gilmore Girls, Grey's Anatomy, House, ER, Castle, and The Shield. And you've done several other things. But what's been your favorite character so far, and why has that role been so special?
Oh gosh, they're all like my little babies. It's so hard to pick. Like, South got me such a cool connection with fans. So I really love Chelsea, and she was just a love. Like, she just was supportive and a good character to model after. I really liked her for that reason. Waverly, I feel like I'm really proud of that work. That's something that I feel so blessed to have become her. And then Racy is I just love playing her, and I love the fun that I've had with my family and friends, laughing at her and her adventures and her other coworkers. So, that is so hard. But it's a big toss-up between Waverly and me. I really love both of them. So.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you play every character so well, so I knew that was kind of be challenging for you to answer. You're welcome. Now, I do want to say congratulations on your first feature film, Pariah. And yeah, that was awesome. In there with some veterans like Kim Wayans. I know that was like just totally amazing. That film received a lot of awards, and one of them was the Sundance Film Festival Excellence in Cinematography Award. How did this project affect your career beyond the award level? Just being in a feature that got so much recognition, not just for the quality of the project, but for the subject matter. What was that like for you?
The experience itself just unraveled so slowly and in such an amazing way. I got to work, like you said, with such cool artists. Like Edipero Duye was just amazing to watch in action. She was just fluid, and it felt natural to her, and she's also really kind, supportive cast member. Kim Wayans, what a dream to work with her, and I love what she did in her dramatic role. Every time we got a chance to watch a screening, I think I was crying every time at her scene, and I would tell her, like, I just love you in this role. You're so good. I wish so much that even more people could have seen it, and I know we won a lot, but when you work so hard, and I just think it's such an important story, and there's such great characters. I even wanted more. I was hoping for more for Pariah, but I'm really happy. And I think it's going to be just the way it unravels slowly. Right. I think it's going to continue to do that. I don't think we've seen the last of it,
Right.
And then working in New York was so great, and they were such a supportive cast and crew. It just felt like being with a family. It just felt so natural. I loved being a part of that. It was literally a dream come true. When I started to imagine myself as an actor, I wanted to do like a kid or something, to that effect, like something deep and something that would stay with you emotionally. Right. And I felt like Pariah was my version of that, and what a dream to be a part of that. Gosh.
Awesome. Very awesome. And I know that's something you will never forget.
Never.
Now, talking about memories, tell us about the most memorable on-set experience you've had, and what made it so memorable. And also, is there an audition that you can think about each time you think about your career? That one audition that just stands out, whether it was a great experience or a life learning experience or something that just kind of was a huge challenge, whatever it could be. Tell us about that.
I remember definitely the audition experience that I will never forget is my South of Nowhere audition experience, because I remember showing up, and honestly, the parking was really hard. The casting place was just packed with people. It seemed like such a long shot. For one of the first times in my life, I remember feeling like I'm just going to duck out. Like, my meter's almost up. I'm going to get a ticket. Like, I should just leave. And I don't remember ever feeling that way before, but I just kind of stuck it out and said, all right, Ash, stay in it. I didn't like my hair that day. I thought my outfit was weird. I just wasn't feeling confident and ready. And they said, well, table reads are tomorrow. And I was like, well, it was just a guest star on a pilot. And I was thinking, well, I don't even know if I'm right for this. But I just went for it anyway and kind of left it behind like I usually try to do, like just leave it, once you're done. And it ended up being a 4-year, career for me. If I had walked out that door, like I don't know what would have happened, but it wouldn't have happened in that way. So, kind of exciting to think about acting at such a gamble like that.
Right.
You just never know. You think, just when you think it's not going to happen, it does. Hollywood has a way of pulling you back in, like, I'm done with you. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm not done with you. So it's a hard, difficult road, but if you have a love and a passion for something,
right,
you just keep trying. Even on the hard days, you just bounce back like the next day. Just keep trying.
Wow, I love that. I love your energy with that. I mean, even though you didn't feel the most confident, you weren't the most satisfied with your appearance that day, you knew what came first, and it was your passion for your craft, and you still went in there and you still nailed it. And people need to hear that, because it is challenging, getting geared up and going for audition after audition after audition after you've been on several auditions, over the past few weeks, and you've been rejected. And to say, hey, I'm, that's like you said, leave it in the past. I'm pressing forward. I'm growing from these experiences. I'm getting better. And like I tell people all the time, I'm an aspiring director, and I just actually finished my first feature script that I submitted for the ABSF script writing competition. Thank you.
Wonderful. That makes me feel so happy. I love to hear that people are writing and creating.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I try to encourage people too. There's plenty of times I've written shorts and been told, even on Twitter, I've my projects have been reviewed, and it's like, hey, great writing, but it's not what I was looking for, or really, really good job, but I have a specific budget and it's not for that genre. And it's like, hey, you're gonna keep getting rejections, but if you're passionate about what you want to do, those rejections are just gonna make you stronger to expect that yes in the future. So.
And a really smart person once told me, sometimes your rejections are your protections, so you just never know. Maybe it wasn't the right project or the right match, or they remember you for that, and they think about you in the future, like, oh, Katie wasn't right for that, but this is her wheelhouse right here, So I always try to do a good job no matter what, because you just never know what it'll lead to. They'll remember you in a positive way, then or not remember you at all. Like, try to be exciting and feel exciting, because whatever you're feeling, and I have to tell myself this stuff all the time, whatever I'm feeling behind it, they're getting it, like they're feeling that energy.
Right.
So if I'm feeling like, you just have to push all the other stuff aside once you walk in the room and just be about that character or that project, or, and leave all the other stuff behind. You don't feel it.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I love your answers. So awesome. Now, you have listed several different tips just kind of embedded in your answers for different, for actors and actresses. And you have been very successful. I mean, I've just been studying the industry, and a lot of people, I've heard are not really like the true actors and actresses are kind of looking at reality TV like, hey, you're taking up slots for people to actually, do work. And then some people are saying, hey, well, we like reality TV because it's causing other people who may not have received publicity through the actual love of the craft to get work through the craft. So I just wanted to ask you, what tips do you have for actors and specifically actresses, since you can, totally relate, on being successful? And do you feel that women of color have equal opportunities, or are they experiencing more challenges? Because you're a woman of color, but I mean, you're beautiful, you have natural hair, and you're still successful. So it's kind of like, we can kind of put the excuses to the side when we look at your resume. But do you think, that that's the norm, or do you think you've just been totally gifted and blessed in certain situations?
Oh my God! Thank you for saying that. I've worked so hard. You have to behind all those to me. I really love my resume, and I love the things I'm passionate about. All the things I've gotten to work on. But like you said, there were so many things that I didn't get. And thank you. I love doing having these conversations, because I can even get down on myself, like, oh, it's been so long, I didn't work on anything else, or why, it feels like that for me too. I feel the success, but I do forget about it sometimes. I'm like, oh, but there should be more. Like, I want more. I want to work more. I want to work on this stuff. And I think the best advice I can give is just don't give up. Because that's the only thing you can do is get off the bus. If you don't get off the bus, as Harrison Ford once said, he just never got off the bus. So if you just continue on, I love the idea of people creating their own content. Like, I'm so proud of Reagan Gomez, and it's the only way. It's hard for us to sit back and say, oh, someone will write something for us. Come on and make it good.
Right.
So kind of write stuff for ourselves, and then I feel like the more other successful writers get to know our content, like, then maybe they can incorporate it in their content. They're like, oh, I didn't know Black people like to do this. Or, like, we know so little. How is a white writer who's never hung out with a Black person in his life supposed to write white, Black dialogue and, create these characters? I think there has to be some sort of, we also have to write for ourselves, and we have to create. I mean, the more that we communicate about what's really going on in our lives, the more a real image of who we are can be expressed. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, if we hide who we are and expect other people to just write about us and not really know us that well, then it's not going to make it easy to create other things. So maybe just get out there, write. Even if you flop, put up a play or create webisodes these days is so, much. It's tangible. It's not super easy. Believe me, it's still hard work, but it's possible.
Right, absolutely.
Hard work is possible. In the past, it seemed like so impossible to get a story out there. I can't imagine Kim trying to pitch The Unwritten Rules for years to NBC and CBS and be able to do it so quickly and to get a response from audience. And it's just, I think we have opportunities, so we just need to take it.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Very, very much so. And I was listening to you saying sometimes you can get down, and I interviewed an actress, writer, and director, Sequoia Houston. She's actually in Los Angeles, and one of the things that she suggested to herself and other actresses is create a win jar. And everything that you've done that's been a win in your eyes, put it in that jar. And that way, when anything happens to where you feel slightly discouraged, you can just dump that jar over and read each win. And after you finish, you recognize your value because it's right there written on paper, and then you go achieve something else, and then now you've added something else to the win jar. So I think that's just it was just a wonderful tip, and she's just a very, very positive and driven actress as well. And I think it's really important, especially when you pick up, she's from Texas, she just picked up and moved out there, and a lot of people do that, and things don't go exactly according to plan all the time, and you just have to just keep going. Like you said, you've got to get on that bus and just keep at it. So I think that's awesome too, that you're so honest and you're so truthful that even things that may seem like a negative situation, you're spinning them into a positive. And I think that's really, really important. Now, one of the things, Aasha, you're welcome. One of the things that you discussed earlier, and I know this is a sensitive subject, was the passing of your sister. And I remember you reported her missing in 2009, and my heart just totally goes out to you about this. And I was just so amazed at how, after everything went on, you just had this certain peace about yourself, that peace that surpasses all understanding that, we read about in the Bible. And how did you just keep going? Like when you talked about the unwritten rule earlier, you said, hey, I just wanted to chime in into my sister's life. I wanted to, bring about her story because this is a goal that she had. That just made me have so much more respect for you, not just as an actress, but as a woman, because you still kept pressing forward. And that was also a reminder to me that God is real. When you have a passion, when you have a desire, when you have a calling, it doesn't matter what goes on around you. You're going to follow out your calling because that's a gift that God gave you. So how did you keep going? What made you keep your desire so positive and so focused?
I'm definitely so grateful to my family and my friends. I was when it happened, I was in so I knew that I had to focus on the most important thing, and that was the quality of life for my son, and at the same time be there for my sister. And it was, believe me, challenging times, but I had such a wall of support. I'm so grateful to my husband and my friends and and I thought about my mom a lot, and I just had to be strong for her. And you just press on, and you really take the best out of life, and you have to, believe that whether it's God or it's the universe or what's driving you to be positive and live a positive life, you just have to really focus on that. I thought about the future. I thought about what my sister would want, as far as for us to live our lives. I know she was really excited about her nephew, so I wanted to give him the best life possible, and I wanted to, I want my family to be proud of me, moving forward, and I wouldn't want to just give up.
Right.
Because I was going through hard times. A lot of people go through hard times, and I want to be an example that you can get through it. You can't take one negative and let it keep rolling, snowballing into an awful thing. It has to somehow, you have to stop it. And that's myself like pressing up and being like, it's not going to snowball.
Right, absolutely.
And life's going to have to get better. So.
Absolutely.
I'm stuck with that.
And I just love the way you handled everything. I loved your positive energy. And even today with expressing yourself, it's made me inclined to you even more. So
thank you.
You are welcome, and thank you so much for sharing that. I admire you, and I totally admire your work, but I want to know, who is your favorite actress, and who do you study to enhance your career and elevate your craft? Somebody that when you see them perform, it's like, wow, I would love to just be in their space and share their energy.
Wow, that's a good question. I'm such a fan of so many. I love Candy Alexander is a big inspiration to me.
I love her.
I actually know her on a personal level, and she's always been so sweet to me and supportive, and I've always admired what she's done. She could do procedural, she could do comedy,
yes.
She can do something like The Corner and be amazing in it, and
yes.
she's, done so much, and she's just a lovely person also, and I really admire her and her work. And it's funny because I like the creepers, the people, and I guess maybe that's why I've become one. I like people who do really good work, and they choose, and it's, all that money and sex, I'm going to take it someday. You're going to see me on NBC or something,
right.
Every day. But there is something so wonderful about stories that aren't told too often, and, just really a new voice out there. I love that kind of energy, and I feel like we're getting more of that. I got worried for a while there, like as an industry, we were just like repeating ourselves, like, oh, let's just create everything that we've already created. But slowly, with so much content, I feel like other new voices are kind of leaking out there, and I look forward to more of that.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah. And I love Candy Alexander as well. She is
great.
Oh my gosh, she's just one of those people to where you almost forget her real name because she becomes the character so well, and even the nuances with her facial expressions and her body language. She's awesome. I really love her too. So, and I'm glad that you didn't just pick the name that everybody's saying right now or going with the trend. You really honed in to who you admire and someone who's touched you. So I love that.
Good.
Yeah. So if you could star in a feature film of your dreams, like a feature film that you would just love to be in, who would you cast to share the screen with, and who would you have directed, and what would be the subject matter?
Oh my goodness, girl. Ooh, and I've been approached about this. Maybe that's why it's in my head. I miss those like Love Jones movies.
I love it.
Like that's missing, like those real love stories. I really like those. We need more of that kind of thing. And who would I direct it? Ooh. I'm kind of Ava DuVernay fan. I think she's awesome. I love what she did. I Will Follow, and she's had some amazing success. And I'm a big Bradford Young fan, obviously because of Pariah. So I would want to work with him anytime ever again for whatever reason. He's just a fantastic person and talent. Yeah, I would put something like that together. Something gushy and good and lovey.
Okay.
Something in that realm.
Yeah, Love Jones is a classic. Love it, and I'm a huge Lorenz Tate fan. So can you share who you would want to play in that feature, or you kind of want to keep that to yourself?
I'll keep that to myself. There's some great people out there, but I don't know. I would whatever would work.
Okay. Awesome. I know. I'm trying to get all the juice. So you've been tremendously blessed thus far. We talked about a lot of things that you've encountered and a lot of successes that you've had. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself. I want to put a series for 10 years. I want to be on one of those.
Oh yeah.
Like I want to be on like a Sopranos.
Yeah.
Type of thing on a network. That would be ideal. And I want to have like a routine. I want to go to set and have my family on set eating dinner with me and working, and that's what I hope for.
Very awesome.
More like that.
Very awesome. Well, I loved every moment of this interview. I loved your energy. I loved your answers. I don't want to stop, but I cannot have you for the entire night, so I know you have other things to do. But can you tell us what you have coming up, where we can find you online, where you are on social media, so we can definitely stay connected?
Oh, of course. I am Aasha Davis on Twitter. I'm Aasha Davis, AASHADAVIS on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm going to New Orleans for the first time next week, and I'm shooting a fun web series with an old friend of mine from South Nowhere, and I'm really excited about it. I've never been to New Orleans. It's called Mickey and Nora.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's a pilot that she wrote a while back, and then it kind of got leaked, and they built a really good fan base, and so they're going to do webisodes for the fans. And I love working with her, and I like her style, and she's really fun to be with, and she's always been really supportive of me. So I'm really excited to go play in New Orleans.
Awesome. You're going to love it, and while you're down there, eat a beignet for me.
Okay, you got it. You got it.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Aasha, and thank you so much for your time. We wish you all the success that you've had and more in the future.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And we'll talk again soon.
You're welcome.